Hey guys. Alrighty, so for the last 3 weeks of social studies, we are going to be talking about the Holocaust. And we are going to do that by doing this novel study by this book right here, What Was the Holocaust? And read a chapter a day. You'll have some questions to answer, and by the end of school, you will know a lot about the Holocaust. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do the introduction and chapter 1 today to get us started. There's a lot of pictures in this book too, so I'll show y'all as well. What was the Holocaust? May 1945, Volery, a small town in what is now the Czech Republic. Gerda Wiseman stood outside an old bicycle factory. She weighed 65 pounds. Her hair was white, although she was not even 21. Inside the empty building, dozens of women lay on straw. Most were sick. Many were dying. Like Gerda, they were all Jewish. For many years, they had suffered under the rule of Nazi Germany. For Gerda, the horror had begun 6 years earlier. It was late summer. She was 15 years old, and she had just come home from vacation. On September 1st, 1939, the weather was glorious. The sky a bright blue. Suddenly, German airplanes blocked the sun. They roared over Gerda's home in Bielsko, Poland. Tanks rolled down the streets. The German army was invading Poland. It was the start of World War II, which lasted in Europe until May of 1945. Many local people waved Nazi flags. They cheered for their new leader, Adolf Hitler. They were glad Hitler had taken over Poland. Hitler hoped to take over all of Europe. Here's a better look at that picture. The Jews of Bielsko were not happy at all. They knew of the Nazis' hatred for Jews. Gerda and her family were told to leave their home so local German Poles could move in. Gerda's garden was fenced off with a sign that read, "No dogs or Jews allowed." They lived in a basement with no water or electricity. After a while, all Jews in Bielsko were rounded up. Trucks took them to different prison camps. Gerda was separated from her mother, and she never saw her again. She never saw anybody else in her family again either. Through the rest of the war, Gerda was moved from one concentration camp to another. She labored in Nazi-run factories. She hauled coal on trains. By 1945, she was half dead. And yet Gerda was one of the more fortunate ones. She survived. 6 million Jews did not. They were killed by the Nazis in concentration camps. About 6 million other victims were also led to their deaths. The Roma, disabled people, and people from certain religious and political groups. That day in 1945 at the factory, Gerda saw a car approach. 2 men, United States soldiers, jumped out. One came over. He was big and strong. To Gerda, he looked like a god. "Does anybody here speak German or English?" he asked in German. "I speak German," Gerda answered. Then she added, "We are Jewish, you know." "So am I," the man said. His name was Kurt Klein. "May I see the other ladies?" he added. Then the man held the door for Gerda to go inside the factory. It was a simple, polite thing to do, but it made her feel human again. So just him holding that door for her made her feel human again. 1 year later, Gerda and Kurt Klein were married. Gerda Wiseman's wartime story ended on a note of hope. That was rare for the millions who suffered during the Holocaust. The word Holocaust, rooted in Greek, means a sacrifice by fire, but it also means any great destruction and loss of life. From 1939 to 1945, all across Europe, Jews and people from other groups were murdered simply because of who they were. How did this happen? All right, and chapter 1. So we're doing the introduction and then chapter 1. Chapter 1 is called Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is the hatred of Jews. It goes back thousands of years to ancient Rome. When Christianity took off in the world, anti-Jewish feelings spread. There were false, awful stories that Jews had killed Jesus. They were blamed for causing disease and for bad crops. Sometimes this led to violent attacks against Jews. Sometimes anti-Jewish laws were passed. In certain parts of Europe, Jews couldn't own land. They couldn't be citizens. In more modern times, around the 1800s, countries in Europe developed fairer laws. Life opened up for Jewish people. They had more freedom. Some Jews kept their old customs, some did not. More and more Jews considered themselves German or Austrian or French before they thought of themselves as Jewish. Then in 1914, the Kaiser, Emperor of Germany, started a world war in Europe. It raged on until 1918 with Germany's surrender. A treaty was signed with very harsh terms for Germany. The Kaiser was gone. Germany lost land. It had to disband its army. For starting the war, it had to pay billions of dollars to the countries that Germany had fought against. But Germany didn't have any money. As in the past, much of the blame for Germany's woes fell on the Jews. In 1919, Germany tried to set up a democracy. The group of elected representatives was called the Reichstag. A president was elected. And here, right here, it says Germans protesting the peace treaty signed after World War I. So you can see them all there in front. A president was elected too. The president in turn chose a chancellor. The chancellor held a lot of power, but he still had to answer to the president and the Reichstag. So I'm guessing it's kind of like a vice president. This new government was supposed to offer a better future for Germany, but it faced big challenges. For example, how would Germany pay all the money it owed? The government thought the answer was to print money, more and more money. Soon there were so many German dollars, which were called marks, they became almost worthless. Prices went up day by day, hour by hour. One man bought a cup of coffee worth 5,000 marks, already a very high price. When he ordered a second cup, the price had shot up to 9,000 marks. People carried cash around in wheelbarrows. By 1929, millions of Germans were out of work. Most had their savings wiped out. Many wanted change, a new direction for the country. But who could lead the country to a new and better future? Germans turned to the worst person possible, Adolf Hitler. And that is it for the introduction in chapter 1. So I will see you tomorrow for day 2.